Hello and welcome back to Bannerlord Modded. I'm on the diplomacy screen right now, mainly because I wanted to show you the potential enemies that we have available to us now that the Vaegirs have declared declared peace with us. Technically, they were forced into it because their war exhaustion did reach a critical point, and obviously they got to 100, and we didn't even make any kind of deal with them whatsoever, as you can see right here. So that's actually kind of bad. I'm not entirely sure why our faction is not doing that. I don't know. They haven't done that for quite some time. The only deals we currently have going on are with the Cortanians and the Dryatican Republic, as well as the Palatians, of course. These guys have been paying us for, well, a lot of time. Let's just say that. 650,000 gold almost has changed hands. Anyway, Royalist of Landia and Botania. Those are the two options that we have available to us right now. So if we take a look at the map, I'm actually right close next to one of the Royalist Vlandian fiefs. And I thought to myself, okay, well, we either declare war against the Royalist Vlandians and try to eliminate them, because, I mean, we do have a pretty decent little area here. As you can see, we have Valuka, we have Wallaham Castle, we have Thraktarai Castle, Golorin Castle, etc. And then also we have Remtor Castle up here. So technically, this is just waiting for us to connect Ortisia and the other castles and towns that we have down here that are currently owned by the Royalist Vlandians. So it kind of makes sense for us to declare war against them rather than the Botanians. The Botanians are going to be very difficult for us to deal with, especially considering Revel is all the way over there. That is my new castle, new town, of course, and that is certainly something that is very much out on a limb. You know, it's very far away from pretty much anywhere else, so it is going to be quite difficult for us to defend it. So what we're going to do is we're going to declare war against the Royalist Vlandians. That's exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to try and eliminate them. They only have one army currently available, so it very much depends on what they're going to do, but I'm going to go in here straight away. This really doesn't need me to do anything much at all. I can pretty much just go straight in here and build the siege camp, and unless an army actually appears, and I'm talking about, you know, 800 units or something like that, I think we're pretty good. Oh, wow. Okay, they would have been able to do this. They would have been able to attack us right here, but thankfully I was just about able to beat them to it, and thankfully I did remember to equip my mace as well, so now we can utilize the power of Bonktown as we, well, visit it time and time again when we destroy many, many enemies. Yes. Many enemies, thank you very much. Alright, so let's see what we can do. Now, bear in mind, obviously, I don't have a siege tower, don't have a battering ram or anything like that, so we're going to have to rely on ladders. But of course, that's actually not that big a deal, because, as we know, when you're fighting against such a minuscule defensive force as what the Royalist Vlandians currently have available here, you don't really need those advanced siege equipment pieces. Now, that's the point. What I gotta say is that is something I very much appreciate being changed in Bannerlord. I feel like the siege warfare has just gotten so much better in comparison to Warband, because in Warband you'd have, what? One option, basically. Well, two options, I suppose. I mean, you couldn't even starve them out, to be honest. You couldn't even starve out the opponent, because they'd have, in towns at least, like, what, 100 days worth of food or something like that? It's impossible. It's impossible to starve anyone out in that situation. So even if you wanted to wait, and even if you wanted to utilize a different kind of warfare, you would not be able to do it, because 100 days is much longer than you're going to have, and, you know, 100 days worth of food, that is. You're not going to have 100 days worth of food, that's for sure. Not unless you have, what, 10 in inventory management maybe, and then you've got to be a bit lucky. But yeah, that's something I very much appreciate being different in Bannerlord, the siege warfare and the various options you have. I feel like there should still be more options available, but the current options so far are very satisfying. And, well, while you still can't starve out a particular town, which in my opinion is a bit of a shame, because attrition should be an option. I mean, technically, every single option should be available because that's just how it is. You know, if you're aiming for a realistic experience, then every single option should be available to you and you can utilize them however you want. But unfortunately, that is not available just yet. At least I don't think it is. The last time I tried doing that was way back in one of the very first versions of Bannerlord that I played, so obviously I don't know. Maybe it's been implemented now, maybe it hasn't, who knows. But what I do know is that once all of this stuff has been implemented in a proper manner, and I'm sure they will do that, of course, they will definitely make sure that it is seamlessly integrated as best as they can, because Warband turned out to be an absolutely magnificent treat of a game once you learned how to play it, of course. Anyway, we're just going to show mercy here. I'm not going to be claiming this. I personally do not want to claim this, so I'm going to decline, and it's going to go to the vote. But otherwise, I'm going to wait here for some time. Okay, fantastic. They seem to have left me alone for the most part, because they obviously don't want to try any kind of siege here. But what I am going to do is we're going to get Ultimate Thruster back. Wait a minute. We don't want to go here. We want to go... Wait, where am I? There we go. I want to go here and get Ultimate Thruster back on, and I'd like to attack Erdogan if at all possible. He is currently the leader of Royalist Vlandia as far as I am aware. Let me just take a quick look at that. Royalist Vlandia, yes he is, as you can see right there, and he has a negative 18 rating with us, so I would love to be able to deal with him if at all possible. Let's see if I can... Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got this guy. He's going to... Oh, I actually thought he would surrender. Should I just... You know what? Let's just auto-resolve this, because I'm kind of antsy to fight Erdogan at this point, so I'd like to do that instead of, you know, potentially wasting my time with one of these minor vassals that we can defeat rather easily with an auto-resolve. I might be able to fight this guy as well. Let me see. Oh, he actually started the siege. You absolute scoundrel. Yeah, he is an absolute scoundrel, this guy. Alright, do you think I can deal with him? I'm actually not sure. I'm actually not sure if I will be able to, but I'm gonna try, hey? Shall we try? Let's try it, because I here's the thing. My main plan was actually to be in the garrison here. If I break in, how much is that gonna... Really? 29 troops. That's not too bad. I feel like that is actually not too bad, but I think I could probably do better by just going in here. Oh, wait. Oh, look at that. I actually stopped his siege, and now we have the ability to attack this guy separately. Oh, there we go. That was perfect. That really worked out in my favor, and we're going to be attacking this guy because he has over 100 units. Generally, if anyone has less than 100, I'm probably going to be just auto-resolving against them at this point. But I think if they have over 100, I think that's a bit too much. And we could be risking more casualties than we really know what to do with. So I'm going to just put them into a nice little auto-delegate here for the most part, at least at the very beginning of the battle. And then we'll see what else we can do as time goes on. I have to be very careful here because these guys are... I think this guy has a bunch of arbalistas or something like that. So yeah, there's one. Yeah, so we have to be a little bit careful because these guys are using a similar crossbow to what I'm using, and we know how devastating that can be. So obviously that is something to be on the lookout for. Let's see if I can... Yes, he's dead. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, now let's just get my shield back up. Try and eliminate these guys. Ooh, okay, yeah. As you can see, no doubt, very, very dangerous indeed. Okay, let's see if I can maybe command my forces a little bit here. Let's put these guys around about here, these guys around about here. Oh, they're already in loose formation. Look at that. They're already in a loose formation. That's fantastic. So auto-delegate already did that, which is really nice. That is something that you don't see every day. You know, most of these auto-delegation formations are just either the circular thing that they tend to do if you're outnumbered by a huge amount of cavalry, which is, of course, a fantastic defensive formation, but for an offensive push against a minor force, man, not so much. Gonna get out my crossbow here. Oh, yes. That was a wonderful shot, wasn't it? Alright, let's get my forces to move forward now, because I've weakened up the opponent slightly. I still have 9 bolts remaining, so I'm kind of wanting to just save those a little bit, just in case. You never know when you might need that. And let's see if I can maybe do something here to thin out the enemy's cavalry. Yes. Okay, you know what? Infantry, I think they can probably just charge at this point, because we are starting to sort of scatter the opponent. They're starting to get a little bit antsy. Oh, look at that. I might actually get killed here. That would not be too nice. There's a lot of the older vassals, by the way, as well, also succumbing to their age. You know, there's a lot of people that are getting over 60, over 70 now. And they are, yeah, they are definitely getting on in their, on in years, I guess. And you got to bear in mind as well that it's been over 10 in-game years, if you can believe it. Yeah. Over 10 in-game years since I started this campaign. So that kind of gives you an idea as to how long I've actually been in the game and what kind of things I've had to do, because, you know, I did not show everything. You know, there was obviously many times where there basically wasn't pretty much anything going on because it was peacetime and there's not much for me to do in those cases. But now that we have an almost constant warlike state, which I quite like, you know, sometimes I do enjoy a bit of peace, but nowadays it's a good idea to get stuck in and try to do as much damage to the opposing factions as possible. Anyway, I'm going to let this guy go. I am a little bit injured now. Well, I say a little bit, I'm at 4%. Yes, I think that's a little bit more than a little bit, I guess. Anyway, we're going to go into Pen Cannock here. I'm surprised that this guy's leaving that castle alone. I thought as soon as I moved away, he would be right on top of that thing. But apparently he is not. Kind of surprising. But anyway, let's just ransom those prisoners. Another 6,000. That's pretty good. And, oh, look at that. This guy. Oh, hello. Yes. Mercenary companies. Mercenary companies are everywhere around about here. Okay, let's go in here. Do a nice little auto-resolve. This is very easy. Yep, 382 units up against him. I mean, really, he can't do anything about that. And the loot is absolutely great as well. You're going to be able to sell that for a very large amount. And as you can see, this guy is also now being completely destroyed. There we go. We can let him go too. And we'll take all the prisoners as well. There we are. I actually did create a couple of weapons to sell to the merchant. That might be the reason why I have a little bit of extra cash than I did beforehand. And generally I now have 200 in smithing, because obviously, as I mentioned in a previous episode, I did want to try and aim for 225, because that is going to increase my endurance statistic, or attribute, whatever you want to call it, by 1. And that's going to make it 10, which is going to be quite nice. As you can see right here, we have endurance 1, or adding 1 focus point to one-handed and two-handed, which is, of course, kind of useless for me at the moment. So the endurance is definitely going to be something I'll take instead. But there it is. Okay, so that is looking pretty good. We have so far destroyed a huge amount of the enemy's units, and you can see here that they've now dipped just below 2,000 combat strength. And I'm pretty sure that Mirko's army, with their almost 500 units, we're defending Garantor. Why are we defending that? That is very strange. I don't know why we would be doing that. Okay, well, let's head on over there and actually see what's going on, because there might be something that we can assist with. Maybe we can assist with the defense, even though I personally don't think we really need to defend it, unless whoever owns this is not giving it... Oh. Yeah. Okay, they gave it a decent garrison, but it is obviously paling in comparison to the might of this 600-plus army. So that's obviously a bit problematic. Alright, well, let's see what we can do. If you just wait, Mirko, if you just wait, he's going to get a lot weaker. No, don't go in just yet. Why did he go in right now? Oh, he's actually running. That guy's actually running? Really? Oh yeah, Mirko's army is actually having some problems as well, I think, with food supplies, potentially? Or maybe not. Well, whatever the case, I'm willing to assist you now. I'm willing to assist you, even though you made an absolute imbecilic move. It would have been much better to allow him to weaken himself against the garrison's forces for just a little bit longer. Oh, he's actually going into the town. And now he's appeared with 100 extra units. That's hilarious. Okay, yeah. They got him! Look, there's another one. Yes, another army's going in there. Fantastic. Alright, let's go in. Let's go in and see what happens. Okay, I don't want to auto-resolve. I want to go straight on in there manually. This probably is the I think probably the second best option. Because, in my opinion at least, I think the best option, or the best course of action, would have been to allow the opposing force to do as much damage as you would maybe like to allow to the garrison. So, you know, keeping it close so that they didn't actually capture it, but making it so that they weaken themselves against the garrison's forces and then going in, because you're maintaining your own army's strength and the enemy is expending theirs. So it's all about just balancing that out and making it so that you are the one with the advantage in the end. Of course, that's always the way war is supposed to be, you know. You're supposed to use that strategy every single time. Because if you don't, you're going to be in a situation where the opponent is the one manipulating everything behind the scenes, and you're eventually going to be outmatched in that way. So that's the reason why I have I've been quite cautious in a lot of the actions that I've taken recently, and indeed in this series as well, because most of the time I might just run on in there, literally. I might just throw all caution to the wind and then just go in and, you know, consequences be damned, basically. That's the kind of thinking that I've had in the past, but because we now have the ability to perish, and I'm talking about actually die here, anytime I get eliminated, I have a 3% chance to die. And obviously that is something that I would like to try and avoid if at all possible. I think it is going to be a lot of fun if it does actually happen, even though it would be kind of disappointing at the same time, because I think that generally if you have played the game for as long as I have, you should probably be kind of good at it, although I'm maybe not really. I mean, you be the judge of it, really, to be honest. I mean, yeah, some people think I'm okay. Some people think I'm just awful. But, you know, if you're one of those people that think I'm actually okay, then I appreciate you. Thank you very much. But generally, I don't mind. I like the game. I think it's fun. And that's, I guess that's all that really matters at the end of the day, right? Gaming is for fun, after all. Anyway, oh, wait a minute. Oh, nice. I saw that guy coming out the trees, and I was like, oh, yes, let's get a nice little timing attack on the guy. That worked out splendidly, and my auto-delegation is going extremely well, too. Kind of surprised about that. I mean, generally, auto-delegation, when you have the AI with you, when you have AI forces with you, I think that works the best, because then the AI's forces and your forces are going to be working as a unit, as a cohesive unit that knows exactly what they want to do. The only time, in my opinion, that that's probably not going to be a good way to go is if you have a very different army composition. And I'm talking about if you have a massive amount of cavalry, or if you have a lot of archers or something like that. Then I think it's a good idea to position those manually yourself. But I think when you have a standard composition of, I don't know, 40% infantry, 40% archers, and maybe 20% cavalry or something like that in your army composition itself, then I think it's a good idea to just allow the auto-delegation in these kinds of fights at least to do its thing, because they generally will do what is optimal in that case, because I want all of my forces working together and I don't want them to be disjointed in any way. So that's kind of the reason why I allow them to do that, basically. Anyway, let's see if I can get some shots from behind enemy lines here. This seems to be working quite well. Gotta be a bit careful though. Wondering whether one of these is actually the enemy lord, and I'd love to be able to headshot them if at all possible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I actually headshot. Oh, no, I didn't headshot, but I did shoot one of our own forces. Well, that's not particularly good, is it? I mean, I am known for that, you know. I am known for doing those kinds of things, so yeah, they'll definitely forgive me for that, I hope. Cross fingers. Anyway, I was hopeful that I'd actually be able to find another one of their lords, because I did eliminate one beforehand. What was it, Morcon or Morcan or something like that? I think I eliminated him. Oh dear. I think I'm... no, I'm alive. I'm alive. Wow, that was a little bit too close for my liking. Could have probably died there if one of their lancers had been a bit more accurate. I'm actually starting to see now that Cortanian Vlandians, or shall we say their troop trees, they primarily focus on using actual archers. They also do use crossbows as well, but they also have longbowmen, which is very intriguing because I've noticed that in some of the Vlandian fights that we've had in the past, and I always thought to myself, oh, that's kind of weird, because Vlandia usually focuses on crossbows, but it seems like they have a combination of the two. So that does result in Vlandian forces, especially when thinking about whether they are Cortanian defenders or defectors, shall we say here. Because they might be, because they're not all royalists, are they? There must be some Cortanian defectors that have joined the royalist Vlandian faction, which is obviously very strange, because they are basically polar opposites. But still, I think it is, in general, pretty cool for them to have both. Very similar to how the Empire does things. I personally feel like the Empire's troop tree is one of the most balanced in the entire game. Mainly because they don't have any glaring weaknesses, and most of their troops are just very strong. But I wouldn't say that they are too powerful in any one respect. You know, there's always going to be one unit that is really good in one faction or another. But in the Empire, that doesn't... I feel like that's a lot less likely, because you do have the archers, the top tier archers, of course. You have the Imperial Sergeant crossbowmen. They're both extremely powerful and very solid ranged units. And then obviously you do have those Imperial Manavliatons, and you also have the Legionaries and all that sort of thing. So their infantry is very good as well, especially against cavalry. And then the cavalry themselves, they're good too. They actually have horse archers as well. And they're probably not as good as the Khuzait horse archers, because, well, what is really, you know, who has better horse archers than the Khuzait? Well, probably no one, but still, they have good horse archers, and they also have decent regular cavalry as well, so, you know, non-horse archers. But I always found that quite interesting, to be honest. Wait a minute, where are my forces, by the way? They're all the way over there, are you serious? Okay, my forces are the ones charging in, and the AI is not charging at all. Okay, I'm gonna have to move my forces back then. And I will go zoom zoom. Okay, zoom zoom doesn't seem to be working. Ah, there we go, they're coming back now. Okay, yeah, the AI can be a little bit weird with their decision making, but I'm going to keep my forces back now, mainly because I really do not want to see more losses on my side. As you can see, Imperial Legionarius, I lost 8 of those, which is that's a pretty big deal. I don't really want to lose more of them if at all possible. So I'm just going to stand here in the trees, just kind of be a little bit careful, because you never know when you can take a glancing blow and it will take you out, especially in zoom zoom mode. That's going to be very harsh. Anyway, Duska did end up dying. I have no idea who Duska is. I hope that... Oh, she's one of ours. Oh dear, that's not very good. That is not good at all. Oh well. Never mind, can't really do much about that, and we're just going to be letting everyone go, as I've said before, letting people go. Oh, these guys, wow. That particular clan right there has 70 relation with me, so you know what I'm going to do? Oh yes, I'm going to do something rather interesting, or at least I hope it's going to be quite interesting. Let me see if I can find out which clan it specifically is. So let's have a look. These guys? Nope. These guys, yeah. Alright, so these guys. These are clan tier 5. So I think I've spoken to this guy before, but I'm going to send a messenger nevertheless. We're going to send a messenger. I don't know whether he's going to even be available. He might not be available to speak to, unfortunately. But if he's not, then that's just how it goes. I'm going to actually save real quick because I'm a little bit worried about the game crashing potentially. I feel like we're getting to the point now where the game may end up crashing more and more dependent on what happens, because it obviously did in the previous episode. Miron was killed in a battle against the army of manhunters. Really? Okay. Well... to each his own, I suppose. I mean, I can't really say much about that, you know. He manages to die against some manhunters, kind of random. Anyway, there we go. We finally had our messenger arrive. Hello, where are you? Why are you speaking in such a bright area? Weird. Alright, so there's something I'd like to discuss. Let's try and see whether we can persuade him to join us. Okay, so as you can see, he has 70 relation with us, alright? So... let's see what he wants, right? Let's see what he wants. Because we're going to easily be able to persuade him and get through to the barter screen. But let's see. Because he has a castle. Well. Yeah. I don't know. I could give him something. Could give him this. As you can see, if I give him a town, then he will join us pretty easily. Of course, as you can see right there. What? Not all of it, you imbecile. Okay, oh, okay, apparently... oh, no, apparently that has recalculated things. That's kind of weird. Ah, no, he wants Veluca. Veluca is really, really good for him, apparently. So, what if I do this? No, that's not going to make any difference either. But yeah, as you can no doubt tell, even when I have higher relation with this guy, because I noticed a couple of comments, I don't even know how long ago, but generally I like to try out these kinds of theories just to see exactly what's going on with the game in these kinds of situations, because it's just super interesting to me, and maybe it's interesting to you as well. But anyway, point is, at the time I was trying to persuade some guy that had, like, I don't know, I think 10 relation with us or something like that. And a few comments were saying something like, well, yeah, I mean, of course he's not gonna, you know, he's not gonna join you because you got 10 relation with the guy. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, I guess. I mean, you know, sure, I guess so. But now he has 70. And he's still unwilling to join for 500,000. Do you still think the barter system is balanced? I'm not sure, because 500,000 is all of my money. I mean, that's literally everything. And I don't personally want to give him one of my towns because, as I've said in previous episodes, they are not bound by any code whatsoever. They could literally join our faction, and then a day later they could defect back to their original faction and take my town with them. And that's it. And that has happened before to me. So that is kind of interesting. And generally, I'm going to try and continue to get relation with this guy as much as I possibly can. And we'll see what happens when we get 100 relation with him, because I think that will be very interesting. And who knows? Maybe we'll be able to get him to join us without having to spend such a large amount of cash. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.